In this first round of competition today, you'll be making one of these. Competition choppers.
All right.
Now, we didn't feel that that was complicated enough, so to ramp it up a little bit, we've got a special surprise for you underneath that cloth on your anvils. Go ahead and lift that cloth up. What you're looking at there are stacks of 10 series and 15 and 20 steel. You will have to do a stacked Damascus chopper for us that is between 10 and 13 inches in length. Good luck, Bladesmiths. Your 3 hours starts now.
I want to focus on cleaning each and every one of those pieces. If you screw up on the forge welds, it doesn't matter what you make, it's going to be a delamination and shoot yourself in the foot right from the get-go. A ladder pattern Damascus, you cut up the billet, alternating, and almost like in a ladder fashion, and then whenever you stretch the billet out, you're revealing all those layers that you cut down into.
Are all these patterns able to come out with low layer counts?
The ladder pattern, not too low. Twist is probably the one you can do the lowest layer count on. The raindrop, basically the same as ladder, and the shark's tooth, you want to have a good amount of layers on that.
To get a true ladder pattern, you need to be at least around 60 layers or more. I just feel like I don't have time to do that with the 3 hours given. I figured it was safer to go lower layer.
The key to success is getting these welds to stick. The top layer just kind of like sliding off like it's a piece of melty cheese on a hamburger.
A lot of this is set up in heat. Get everything tight with that first weld. Get it hot enough to weld together.
When in doubt, more flux, hit it harder. I don't have time for this kind of problem. The clock is ticking. I'm hoping to set the forge welds so that I can start drilling my pattern into it.
I've got my billet drawn out to a little bit bigger than an inch, and it's time to put a twist in this.
It's a brick right now.
Yeah, he's not gonna be able to twist that, is he?
No, it's got to get quite a bit thinner.
This billet is not moving.
The entire vise is moving as Aaron tries to twist this billet.
No matter how much I try and twist this material, it's not doing what I want it to do.
The tough thing about a twist, man.
Come hell or high water, I'm getting this twist in. It's gonna happen.
Well, there we go. To get it horizontal this time.
It starts to move.
That's the way.
In the back of my mind, I'm concerned about time. I was hoping to put a lot more twist into it. I'm just gonna have to go with what I got.
Bladesmiths, you have just 90 minutes remaining.
I start to manipulate the steel and to bring about what I'm hoping and ultimately will be the pattern that I'm looking for. I use the squaring dies because they have peaks on them. So what I'm actually doing is squeezing down into the steel these lines.
I think Jesse's gonna go for a fold on that.
I would love to see a fold on that. I don't know what he's going to do otherwise. You definitely can't accordion cut something like that.
That was my worry. It's so thin.
Yeah.
He needs a thicker billet in order to cut deep enough V-shaped notches. Otherwise, he won't get that shark tooth pattern.
Yeah, definitely one of those challenges to follow the recipe and follow it really closely. Really easy to screw up one of those steps and wind up with a pattern that doesn't match.
15 minutes!
I'm just running out of time. I've got to get to heat treat. Sounds good. I pull it out. That sucker starts to warp on me. I think I may have quenched my blade a little too hot.
It always makes me nervous when a smith starts twerking the blade after quenching.
It's straight with a lot of emphasis on the and it's hard. I'm ready to hit the grinder.
Mark just quenched his blade.
I hit hard steel. Thank goodness. One quench. I'm on track to get done on time.
I know that I've got just a little bit of time left and start praying that my pattern's going to be good. The pattern is just not what I had in mind.
I'm not sure if that's a shark tooth pattern. The other 3 patterns that the smiths are doing are pretty easy to identify. This one's gonna take a close look at.
I really can't come back and cut or press anymore, so I'm gonna run with it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths! Bladesmiths, stop what you're doing, shut down your machines, drop your tools. This first round of competition is over. Woo!
Bladesmiths, that was a hell of a first round. Now it's time for the judges to take a closer look at your work. Aaron, you're up first. Please present your blade to the judges.
This is heavy. If you move forward, a lot of this needs to go away to make this a functional weapon. I can see the pattern here, and the twist sort of runs through it this way. What often happens if you don't twist them tight is as you stretch them out, that twist sort of goes away. But it is there. Your profile is fantastic. That's a great chopper.
Thank you.
Wayne, please present your steel to the judges.
You still got a bit of a warp in there. There's definitely ways of correcting it. You do have a ladder pattern in here. It's not exactly a ladder I'd be willing to try and climb. The rungs are kind of far apart, but it is in there. Good job.
Thank you.
Mark, please present your blade to the judges.
You got the pattern, I see it there. As you refine this blade, I would be very careful if you move forward, not to get rid of all of that. You know, already this has got a pretty nice weight to it, but to me, that's like a steak knife handle on a butcher knife. There's not a lot there, but you definitely got a knife and it looks pretty solid. Good job.
All right, Jesse, please present your blade to the judges.
All right, Jesse, you can forge out there. Good job. But my concern is it looks nothing like what the sample was. I see these wiggly lines in here, but not that specific for shark's teeth pattern. We saw earlier that your billet was too thin, and you didn't cut those deep V-shaped notches that really define and bring out this pattern.
Wayne, Mark, congratulations. You guys are safe. You're moving into this next round of competition. Aaron, Jesse, this decision came down to your blades. Jay.
Yeah, Aaron, you gave us a twist blade. It's a lazy twist, but it is there. My big concern is the weight of that blade. It's got a great profile, but there's a ton of steel there, and that's a serious issue for me. On the other hand, Jesse, that pattern you're going to put in that blade, we're just not seeing it. It's not the same as the example or close to it, so that's why we're going to let you go.
Jesse, I have to ask you to please surrender your weapon.
It was a pattern challenge, and unfortunately, my pattern didn't step up. The first thing I'm gonna do is kiss my lovely new bride, and then I'm going back to work. I made an awesome blade, I know I did. It was a great experience. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave here smiling.
Wayne, Mark, congratulations. You fellas have made it into the final round of this competition. Now we're sending you back to your home forges to recreate an iconic weapon from history. And that weapon is...
Show me a falchion.
a falchion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good luck. We'll see you in 4 days.
We made it back. Welcome to Pirate Forge. You know, I've done my research, and back in the day, the armor was getting tougher, you know, thicker leather, introduction of chainmail and whatnot. So they needed something that was going to cut and chop with the strength of an axe, but still be wielded like a sword. And that's when the falchion was born. My plan for the design on this, I'm going to go with the Damascus pattern. What I want to do is make 2 solid billets that we draw out, cut and restack to make the 1 billet for the falchion. This is really taking a lot of time, and this is a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. Hammering out and setting forge welds on such monster billets, I've definitely forgot, you know, how difficult that was. I mean, if I would have used a mono steel billet, I could have already had this falchion forged.
We're here back in my home forge in South Burlington, Vermont. Boom. I think that 4 days is tight.
Man, 3/8 inch is no joke.
The falchion has this swell that really gives a lot of forward weight and makes it great for chopping. So I have to figure out where I want to put in this swell and how to hammer it out. So thin. I finally get this swell drawn out, and it is just way too thin. And I'm not even close to 3 inches. So I'm pretty nervous about the structural stability of what I'm making. Ugh. So I am just going to start on a second swell.
I'm giving up on this flare because it's just too thin.
and I still have enough metal back here to make it work. What I realized is that the first time, I wanted to move the metal completely horizontally from spine to edge, and the way that I was doing it was moving some of the metal lengthwise and enough of the metal lengthwise that it just got too thin. I put into practice what I learned making the first swell. It's already going a lot better, a lot faster, and getting a lot wider without getting as thin as it did the first time. That's it for day one.
It's day 2. Best case scenario, we get the sucker drawn out, we get it quenched, it comes out looking great. Never quenched a blade this big. I don't know what's gonna happen. We're about to make this thing change into a real sword. This is a special, momentous occasion. I was so inspired by this blade. I was like, there should be a Falchion song. It was born of blood and war, half axe and half sword. You will surely lop off your head. I just made me a Falchion. Yes, a blade has been born. That blade came out super straight as an arrow. Fantastic. Looks like those candles and all the stuff we did sure enough worked.
The morning of day 2, and I'm gonna start on my crossguard. I only have one piece of brass that I can try this with, so I'm hoping to get it right on the first try. The fittings are a huge part of this, and getting all of that to just really fit tightly, snugly, be comfortable in the hand is gonna be hopefully where I'm able to win this competition. Should be good enough.
Let's do this! I'm feeling good about the blade going to the last day. My only concern is just getting the weight where it needs to be. It's a little bit heavy. I went ahead and decided we're going for fullers. I don't have a whole lot of time left. I'm gonna have to be very strategic in everything I do today. I feel so accomplished. You know, for 4 days, pulling off a blade this big, with the Damascus pattern, with the fit and finish that I got on it, I couldn't be any happier.
It's the dawn of the final day. I was able to get the blade quenched and tempered. Perfect. Now it's time to grind, shape, and glue. This has been a bunch of firsts for me. First on length, first on a guard, first on a pommel. It's just nonstop firsts. I know that there are some steps that I rushed, but for a 4-day build, pretty happy with this.
All right, Bladesmiths, this is the kill test. To find out what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do according to its historic design, I will try to cut this big carcass in half. Wayne, you're up first. You ready for this?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
One and done.
Well now.
All right, Wayne, your Falchion is beautiful. It is sharp. It cut through the spine and all the way through the pig. It's a little bit heavier for a one-handed weapon, but it is well balanced. Overall, sir, it will kill.
Awesome.
All right, Mark, your turn, sir. Are you ready?
Let's give it a shot.
All right, Mark, let's talk about your Falchion here. It's a nice, lighter blade. Your edges are sharp enough to cut through spine, but the problem I have here is your guard. Your edges here are not rounded. They dig in right here where the thumb is. But your blade, sir, it will kill.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, to test the strength and overall construction of your blades, I'll be attacking our armored dummy here. This test is not about what your swords do to that armor. It's about what that armor does to your swords. Wayne, you're up. You ready?
Let's do it.
First off, Wayne, your edge has taken some small chips, some small rolls, but it's very, very minor damage. There's still a sharp edge here. All in all, it held up beautifully.
All right, thank you.
So, Mark, I gotta ask, What's with the shirt?
I got married in this shirt, actually. It's, you know, it's my formal wear.
All right. Well, you ready for the test?
I am.
Okay.
Not bad.
All right, so first off, the blade is still solid. You did get some minor rolling, but the blade still has an edge. Down here's the problem. Your guard, these edges are not just square, they're sharp. But the blade held up. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Bladesmiths, now it's time to find out if there's any sharpness left to your weapons. To test the edge of your weapon, I'm gonna cut through this gauntlet of sandbags. Wayne, you're up first. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Wayne, your weapon is sharp. On every swing, it cuts and slashes nicely. And most importantly, aside from being smurfed, it will cut. Awesome. All right, Mark, it's your turn. You ready?
I am.
Let's have fun. All right, Mark, and as you can see on both of these bags, it cut deeply. On the second bag, on the swing back over there, it must have hit a dull spot. It did rip parts of the bag, but it didn't cut all the way in. But overall, it is sharp, and it will cut.
Thank you.
Wayne, Mark, it was a tight decision. Wayne, congratulations. You're the Forged in Fire champion. Mark, unfortunately, your blade didn't make the cut.
And Mark, you made a good blade, there's no doubt about that. But the big problem is mainly your guard. Not rounding off those sections, those sharp corners will bite into the user's hand. And if a weapon's gonna hurt a user, they're not gonna use it.
Please surrender your weapon and leave the forge.
From start to finish, this whole thing was a learning process for me, and I honestly think I have gotten years worth of experience and feedback in just a short time. Great job, man.
Yeah, you too.
This experience was life-changing.
Wayne, congratulations. You are one badass, everlasting bladesmith and our new Forged in Fire champion. Good job, brother.
Yeah! Yes! Yeah!
Please, at this time, present your blade to our judges.
So I did it! Man, I wanted it! Next for me, I'm gonna get back on the same thing that's led me to this point, which is just non-stop, going full throttle. I'm just gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep getting better and better.
Gentlemen, today in this first round of competition, you'll be using this ladder. Gentlemen, on this ladder, you've got rungs of 1084, accents of 15 and 20. So you need to harvest that steel to forge a ladder Damascus billet from which you will make a ladder Damascus signature blade between 9 and 12 inches in length. The overall length of that weapon must not exceed 22 inches, including your tang. Additionally, you must include a false edge on that 9 to 12 inch blade.
I'm very nervous about this competition because it's a lot to be done in a short span of time. A lot can go wrong.
Good luck. Your 3 hour starts now. We got Seth and Sean working together to take the ladder down.
Let's put it up on the table.
The steel harvesting process has begun.
What they've got on that ladder, they each have plenty of 15 and 20 that's already stackable. If they take their 1084 rungs, flatten them out, that'll give you a nice stack to start out with.
To make sure the pattern comes out, once I draw the blade out, I'll cut the ladders real tight, and then I'll finish the blade out, and hopefully we see a nice wave in it. I have my billet forge welded. It's solid, no delaminations. If I get one fold out of these 7 layers and get to 14, I feel like I won the lottery.
Hey, much harder than I thought.
The toughest part of Damascus is all of the layers.
What is the minimum layer count for a Damascus blade?
If you're gonna do a pattern like this, that we specifically asked them for, I would say a minimum of 75 layers.
Hot metal coming back.
I don't think I'm gonna have time to fold this. So now I'm gonna head over to Big Blue and I'm gonna draw it out to the length that I need it.
Steven took stack 15 on 20 on the top, stack of 15 on 20 on the bottom. Only 3 layers. Does not count as Damascus.
Can you have a Hada ladder pattern?
We didn't ask for a Hada. We asked for ladder pattern Damascus.
I think most of them are stuck on the idea of ladder pattern, but they forgot the Damascus part.
It is extremely hot in this forge, and I just start to feel dragged down. My brain is just not functioning correctly. Hot steel. But if I don't get my billet forge welded here soon, I'm done. I don't want to be the first one to go home.
It's taken John this long to attempt to forge 2 small square stacks of 7 layers, and he hasn't been able to do that. And now he's using Big Blue and hitting the steel as it's well below forging temperature.
I feel funny. I'm feeling not myself. I can't see very well.
But I want you to come with me, okay? Can you get up and walk? I want you to come with me. It's all right, just breathe.
The medic has just come out to the floor, grabbed John, pulled him off the floor.
Your heartbeat is very fast.
All right, John's a medical drop. We've got EMS in here right now. They're gonna load him in an ambulance. They're gonna take him to the emergency room. Better to be safe than sorry. John is gonna be okay. However, the fact that John has left this competition does not guarantee that all of these smiths will move forward. In order to stay in this competition, our 3 bladesmiths still need to complete their blades. Bladesmiths, 20 minutes.
I don't have an option for this quench not going right the first time.
And we got a quench.
No dings, no cracking noises. And I look at the blade, it's straight. This is great.
The quench at this point is the most important thing that I could do.
It's hard to see color right now. I'm gonna use this magnet, see how magnetic we are?
I don't think a magnet's gonna stick to that, buddy boy.
So I'm close.
Steve has been keeping his steel very hot.
And that's a recipe for stress fractures and a brittle blade.
I want to see ladder rungs on both sides of my blade. That's the goal. When I pull my blade out, I can see where there's been some rungs cut, but I don't know if it's going to satisfy the judges. There's no time on the clock, so at this point, I need to get a false edge on first, and then I want to start getting ready to get to the cutting edge like it needs to be.
I almost forgot. I have to put a false edge on this. And I remembered just as I was going to turn off the machine. So nope, I gotta put the false edge in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, stop what you're doing. Drop your tools. This first round of competition is over.
All right, Bladesmiths, unfortunately, John has medically dropped from this competition. That does not absolve you from the responsibility of providing us with blades that fit within the parameters. You had to make a signature ladder pattern Damascus blade between 9 and 12 inches in length that also included a false edge. All right, Seth, please present your blade to the judges.
First off, great classic buoy shape. Like the false edge on here and the way you put it in. But there's really no differentiation. You can't see any color change in your etch, which is pretty much telling me that the vast majority of metal on this blade is all the same metal. When you take a bunch of layers of the same metal and forge weld them together, that's called a Hada technique. There's certainly no visible ladder pattern here, and calling it a Damascus isn't quite appropriate.
All right, Sean, you're up next. Please present your blade to the judges.
Right, Sean, right off the bat, there are no laddered patterns here that we're looking for. This is what I see. I see a knife sheath. I see a blade that's got a handle that looks like it's gonna slash. It does have the false edge we're looking for, and it's got some layers, so it's Damascus. Good job on that. But we don't have a ladder pattern.
Steve, if your blade has a ladder pattern in it and it hits those parameters, you could be the Forged in Fire champion right here, right now. Please present your blade to the judges. How about it, Jay? Is Steve our new champion?
No.
Damn.
Steve, instead of alternating your layers, you stacked up your 15 and 20 and forge welded together, which would be a hata.
Bladesmiths, this is not the first time that one of your competitors is medically dropped from the competition, and it's not the first time that a bladesmith hasn't made parameters, but it is the first time that all of our bladesmiths missed the parameters. So somehow, those two negatives multiplied together have come out to a positive, and that's that you three will be continuing into round 2, in spite of your patterns.
Oh, thank goodness.
Seth, Steve, congratulations. You guys have made it into this final round of competition, and that means we're sending you back to your home forges to recreate this iconic weapon from history. Napoleon Saber. Good luck, Bladesmiths. We'll see you in 4 days.
I'm back home at my home forge in Goche, Mississippi, and I'm going to be working on Napoleon Saber. Round 1, I let the pressure get to my head and I didn't meet parameters, so I'm really gonna have to make sure that I don't get flustered and make this thing beautiful and functional as well. I decided to go with 5160. It is a great spring steel, but I'm looking at the blade and I think I have a little too much curvature. I was at the 3-inch mark, so I had to put it back in the forge and knock it down. I knocked it down a little too far. Time to go back in the forge again. It's kind of like a cat and mouse game. It's a little over an inch. Well, it's just one of those things. It's back and forth, and I'm finally got it.
I'm back at home. I'm in my comfort zone. The lack of power tools could put me at a disadvantage, so I need to plan wisely. I've got a nice bar of 5160. It's gonna make a good, strong sword. It is super hard to hammer, and I'm gonna have to just get after it and know that day 1 is gonna be tough, but I'm gonna have to suck it up.
We're gonna be here a while.
For the pommel, I'm using 1-inch solid hot rolled steel. I've got a lot of metal to move, and I'm a little bit worried that I might not get all this metal moved today. Finally, I've got this thing where I need it. We're at the correct length, the correct thickness. Today is a success. All right, feels pretty good.
It's the start of day 2. It's time to move on to the heat treatment of the blade. The idea is to get as even a heat on this as possible. And like Napoleon, I will divide and conquer. I don't feel no ticks. I don't feel no tings. I have a hardened blade. It's time to do a rough fit up of the wood part of the handle and the pommel. And this is going to taper down to the brass. That's the idea. Now, is it going to work? I go to try to bend it, and it bends just a little bit on the first go round, and I'm like, all right, this looks like it's going to work. I go to try to bend it one more time. Broke the brass. That was my biggest piece of brass that I could have used for it, so that's kind of down the drain. At this point, I don't really know what to do, but I look down at the floor, and I'm looking at the deer antlers that I have, and I notice the curvature in them. No one says that it has to be made out of brass, copper, or gold. As long as I hollow it out and it has a nice taper to it and it fits the hand, why not a deer antler? We got to fit.
Today we'll be quenching the blade, The quench is a moment that can go horribly wrong. I've got to get the entire blade one nice uniform temperature. It's not going to be very easy in the short forge that I have, so what I plan on doing is building an oven at the back side of the forge. This oven's going to keep my point warm, but not let it cool off. Should be a good help. So I've got the forge turned up as high as it'll go. I've got my little butane torch in the front. All right, here we go. We're straight. The beautiful sound of a skating file. Hard, hard, hard.
How'd the quench go?
Quench went good, I think. No bends, no warps. Got it out, file skated on it.
I'm ready to see it finished.
Give me a little while, we'll have that done, okay?
Okay.
Thanks for checking.
No problem.
Love you.
Love you too.
The closer and closer I get towards the final shape of it, I'm feeling it in my hand, I'm kind of twirling it a little bit. Not quite as good as Doug Marcaida will be doing, but feels good in the hand. Becoming a Forge and Fire champion would be a great way to show people that I can do this, and would be one step closer for me to becoming a full-time bladesmith, because this is the dream right here. I am done. I couldn't be happier.
It's the last day. I tempered the blade yesterday in the oven, but I felt like I maybe half did the job. So I want to temper my blade with my torch to give me peace of mind. There is risk involved in a torch temper, which means that I could lose the hardness of the blade. I should see a nice blue up toward the top and a little straw moving down toward the middle of the blade. I think that Seth is going to try to design a blade that's going to be much prettier and sharper than mine. But I sacrificed a little bit of sharpness to get a little more meat behind that cutting edge. I'm in at about 3 pounds right now. It's gonna cut, but it's not gonna be a razor blade. It doesn't feel horribly heavy, it really doesn't.
Put it right there.
There's one more thing to do.
It will kill. All right, Bladesmiths, to find out what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, I'm gonna deliver slashes and thrusts on this pig carcass. Seth, you're up first. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, Seth, from the snotter to the trotter, every cut with this, as you can see, offers a very deep, lacerating cut. The only issue is that your blade did pick up a little bit of a bend. But overall, sir, with the way this weapon moves and feels, it will kill.
Thank you very much.
Good job. All right, Stephen, your turn. You ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
That's heavy. Too heavy. All right, Stephen, let's talk about your saber here. It's a heavy, unbalanced sword. The minute you pick up, it wants to pull straight down. It's hard to wield. But the weight of your sword here will definitely bash in and cut, so it will kill.
Thank you.
Well, Bladesmiths, a saber is supposed to be a sturdy weapon, so let's see how yours hold up on our strength test. The ram skull chop. Now I'm gonna take each of your sabers and with no mercy at all bash them into this ram skull. It's not only gonna test the overall strength of your knife, but the heat treat on your edge. Now, I don't really care what your swords do to the skulls. I wanna see what the skulls do to your swords. Now, Seth, you're up first. You ready to go?
Swing it good.
All right, Seth, your edge held up, but we do have a bigger bend in the blade than we had before. Your guard is now mobile.
and both of your bolsters came off as well. So this mechanical connection right in here failed. But the connection between your blade and your handle is still sturdy. You took some damage, but you survived. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Steve, after seeing that, how you feel?
I don't know. Let's see. There you go. Bad heat treatment.
Well, Steve, we obviously have a problem here. You got a very coarse grain structure in here, so I don't know if there was enough tempering done on this 5160 blade. I mean, one strike is all it took and it snapped it right in half, so that's obviously a problem.
Well, Steve, there's nothing left to test. Your blade has suffered a catastrophic failure and can no longer continue in this competition, and for that reason, I have to ask you to please exit the forge.
I'm upset. I'm very disappointed that the blade broke like that. I'm not coming home as a champion, but I'm coming home a whole lot smarter. I've made some friends that I'll have forever. I would do this again, no questions asked.
Well, Seth, this is a competition where the best blade wins. Your blade survived this strength test. You are the Forged and Fire champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for $10,000. How do you feel?
Surreal right now.
Well, good job, brother. You're a champion.
I could not be more excited about this experience. This competition has been some of the most fun of my life. The money's gonna do some things for the shop, and my wife and my daughter are gonna go on a real nice trip.
Good job, Seth.
My name is Seth Voorhees, and I'm the Forged and Fire champion.